Pastor Roy Gearhart from Galloway United Methodist Church in Franklin, Pennsylvania, sharing a few words of encouragement to help us follow after Jesus. Do you remember those old appliances that your parents and grandparents had? You know, like that old refrigerator that was 20 years old when you were a kid and it still lasted until you graduated from high school? I mean, some of those old appliances were built like a truck. We measured their endurance not in years, but in decades. Things were really built to last. Things don't seem to be built that way anymore. We just got a new washing machine. The salesman said it was built to last 5 to 10 years. It didn't matter what model, who built it, how much you paid for it. 10 years was still like the outside number on that. Endurance, though, can be a huge benefit in life, especially when it comes to you and me getting through stresses and struggles that come our way. How well do you persevere? Are you able to endure in a way that leads to overcoming? I've seen a lot of people fold when stresses come on them in their life. There's an old saying that says that life isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. So you have to be prepared for endurance. There are a lot of people who are not really built in their faith to last for a long haul. Whenever things get tough, they begin to fall apart. And if they have to endure long, they quit and turn away. We've been following the story of Joseph, however, and Joseph is a man who endured adversity and persevered in an amazing way. In Genesis 39 and 40, we find Joseph in Egypt. Now you wonder, how long did this period in his life last? Well, from the time that Joseph was sold by his brothers until he saw them again in Egypt, it was a period of about 20 years. So this was no sprint, this was an endurance. And Joseph has endured separation. He hasn't seen anyone or heard from anyone back home in all of those 20 years, including his father or his brother Benjamin. He has, in those years, suffered a great many other things. It was 13 years before he was elevated by Pharaoh to his high position of service. During those 13 years, he spent at least probably 3 of those years or more in jail. And before that, he was a slave. And so Joseph endured situations that would have broken a lot of other people. Many others would have ended up as broken souls who simply fell to pieces and even died before that period was over. Others would have become bitter and vengeful in their hearts, and God would have never been able to do the wondrous things that he was able to do with Joseph and with his brothers. Joseph, though, endures as he relies on God through the whole experience. Every time Joseph opens his mouth, he gives credit to God for his providence and for his blessing, and he expresses his reliance on God, that God is able to provide and able to give him understanding and discernment in all of his life situation. And so it's with that that Joseph is able to persevere. He's able to hang in there while enduring all of these really very terrible situations, and do so with an integrity and honesty that makes him trustworthy and gives God the ability to bless him in ways that give him benefit and privilege, even while a slave, even while in prison, even while working for the Pharaoh. You see, many other people find it difficult to make it through, but the book of James says to you and me in the first chapter that we should look at situations where we face adversity as an opportunity, as something that we are going to ultimately praise God for. That we ought to look at those as periods in our life where endurance is going to develop strength. It's going to build our character. It's going to mature us. And we're going to be a far wiser and more solid person as a result of it. Joseph endured, and we see God produce exactly that kind of fruit in his life. And Joseph did so because he focused on God. And James says that you and I need to be singularly focused on God. We can't be double-minded and wishy-washy about it. We've got to be clearly focused on the Lord, just as Joseph was, and allow God to carry us through. Let God prove his reliability and faithfulness. And if you and I will put our hope and our trust in him, we can endure. We can endure relying on his strength and on his providing in our life through situations that are way beyond our own ability. That's the great thing about the Lord in our lives, is that suddenly the limits that we have are exceeded by the glory that God brings into our lives. May God bless you today, and as you share this good news, may God make you a blessing wherever he takes you.